creating and deploying a design system with NPM and Storybook.
Yes, welcome everyone to today's session. So far um we have Bolu going to speak on the topic, which I literally have absolutely no idea about. He's going to be speaking on creating and deploying a design system with NPM and Storybook. And it's a topic I really have no idea on, and I'm really excited to see what's coming up today. And in addition to today's session, we'll be having a small Kahoot session, most likely after he has presented. And the Kahoot session is going to be about the previous meet and maybe if very few questions about the current meeting we are holding today. So I guess that's so. But you can go on. Thank you.
Yeah, so good evening, everyone. Hope you've all had a good day, and I apologize in advance for because tomorrow is Monday, what work starts. So yeah, so sorry about that. My name is Bolu Abiola, and I'm a front end developer. So today I'm going to be taking you on a topic that's kind of like dear to my heart, and it's something I'm also kind of relatively new with. So um over time, I've always wondered all these people that are deploying to NPM, that are building UI libraries, how exactly do they do it? So when I started in my current company, they were they were they were switching to a new version of the application. So the lead developer, I guess, he just said, okay, we want to have our UI component separate from the main application itself. So they are going to be an NPM package GTC. So me in my head, I was like, so this thing will be hard like this. Don't mind me if I'm talking too much. So after I did all the magic, I was like, wow, wow. Like the setup for the design system and the packaging was crazy, but thankfully, I've been able to find an easier and stressful way. So I'm going to be talking a little bit about that. So I promise not to waste too much time. And yeah, let's get started. So basically, the topic in full is creating and deploying a design system with NPM and Storybook. So what exactly is a design system? So a design system is basically a collection of components. So they are basically just Lego blocks that you use to pick and choose to build your application, whatever part of your application. So a good example of design systems is, so I first link here. So okay, no. Okay, I think I made an error, but that's fine. That's fine. So on the link I shared here is a bunch of design systems that a couple of companies actually use. And one that I think I kind of like a bit is the one used by Atlassian. So Atlassian, I'm not sure if that's the correct pronunciation, excuse me, is the company that's in charge of Jira, Confluence, and Trello. I'm not sure if they are for the applications, but those three are kind of like the most popular ones. And if you are someone that have used those three applications, you will notice that their design system, the look and feel of the three applications, they're actually very similar and the same. So if you go to Confluence or if you go to Jira, you see the buttons, they have a similar style, similar border radius, similar color, etc. So um initially, if someone like me wants to build something like that without any prior knowledge, I can say, okay, I'm going to create different components, I'm going to do this and do that. Let's say it's time to build another app like this. I'll copy all those things, like just literally copy and pasting to that second application. And that's in itself, so it's kind of a little bit not good, because if there's going to be an update, even the tiniest of updates, you have to go to each application and say, okay, let me change the border radius of this, go to the second one, change the border radius. I beg, no, too much stress. So coming back to Atlassian, so a design system is basically everything included, everything related to design. So there's components, there's patterns, there's branding, which is their logo, etc, foundations, color, iconography, typography, content, everything related to to design really is just basically the design system. So if I go inside the components, you can see here there's avatar, there's the avatar component here, and there's different variations of the avatar component. You can see there's a badge component, there's a banner component, and a blanket component, and a whole lot more component here. So the difference between a design system like this and something like maybe, Chakra UI is design system are basically designed to cater for a particular need. So they are designed to cater for whatever application you are building. Basically, you are just grabbing different Lego blocks to make it look like something in particular. But for something like Chakra, it's public. It's just like a public design system in quotes. It's a public design system where people can install and make it look like whatever they want to look like. But that's basically it for physics of of a design system. So next, why exactly do we need design system? So I think I've already mentioned to prevent repetition, really. To prevent repetition, if you have a component button, if you create a component called button, right, and you say, okay, this button, it should take a couple of properties. So let's say color, or you can see, let's say variation, different sizes. At this size, it should be like this. At this size, it should be like this. So anywhere you want to use it, you just call the button component and passing the required properties, and you'll be fine. Not creating different button components at each point in time, which is very going to waste your time, and resources. So now, to be able to build our design systems, right, it's literally in the topic of this conversation. Creating and deploying a design system with NPM and Storybook. So what's in God's name is Storybook? So Storybook is basically a front-end workshop for building UI components and pages. So it's basically more like it helps you to document your components. So let me see if I can actually give an example of how. Okay, sorry, got distracted. Now, before we move on to actually, coding and etc., let me try to give an example of what a storybook app actually looks like. So if, let me search for this thing. React use. So if I go to React use, let me see. Give me a second. I really should have gotten this link. Okay. And then let's go here. Yes. Okay. So this is what the storybook app actually looks like. If you click on one of the components here, so this particular app, they actually use it to store hooks that they created locally. So here you can see there's docs, there's demo, etc. So this is just me just showing how the storybook looks like, but I'll explain a little bit more when we actually get into the into the coding part. So this aside, let's try to do something interesting. So storybook here, like, oh, sorry, I'm talking too much. So like I said, let's try to actually use storybook in an actual application and see, and let's just go from there really. So I've created a React app you can use. So in this app one here, if I just navigate to app one and do yarn dev, this should, okay, thank God, no else. So yeah, so our app is running. So the scenario we have currently, we have an app, we want to build an application that's going to change the world and solve world hunger. But to do that, we want to be able to create a design system and be able to document our components and see them in real time, not just going to the code every time. So and to be able to install Storybook to help us to do that. So let me see. Add a Storybook. Okay, so the only command we need will just be npx storybook init, and let me show you the documentation. So this is the documentation, the storybook documentation. And if I go to install, the only thing you need to do is call NPM Storybook init, and you can't do this separately. So you need to do it inside an application. And if I haven't actually mentioned this before, you can also use Storybook in other frameworks and not just React. So maybe I think they have a list here. So okay, so we have React, Vue, Angular, Web Components, Preact, Svelte, HTML, Ember, and I'm pretty sure they'll add support for all these new components that are coming up every day. So yeah, so it's the support is great. So now first thing we should do, let's add Storybook to our React application. Okay, so I'm going to open another terminal for app one. So it's cd into app one, and then I'm going to call remove the redundancies, and npm storybook init. So okay, so it's performing its magic. Come on, come on, come on. Okay, now okay. Why is this taking a while? Hope Glow is not going to disgrace me today. Okay, it's moving. And like I said, this is basically the only setup that is going to happen. npx storybook init, and then you can just start creating your components and actually documenting them. All right, come on, bro. Okay, so in the meantime, let's just see storybook documentation. So after you successfully run npm storybook init, to actually run storybook and see have this particular view. So once you do npm run storybook, it will start a separate server for you to be able to visualize and document your components. So you will see something like this. So that's okay, not available there. By default, Storybook will have some stories, some components for you just for testing, but we're just going to remove all of them and then start from scratch. So next, what exactly is a story? So obviously the name of the platform is Storybook. So we're definitely going to be creating stories. So stories are just basically how you document your component. You import your component into a story, and then you can add different variations of your components to that particular story. So here is an example here. So Storybook also supports JS, TS, and MDX. Yeah. So but we are going to be sticking with TS. And if your TS experience is not good, I apologize, but you are just going to have to bear with me. So like I said, for a story, first thing you do is import your components, then you specify a title, and then you pass in the component here. And this is where you make different variations for your component. So you can see here we have export constant primary. So primary is a variation of this particular component. So let's open, thank God, it's okay. So if I clear this now, and I do npm run storybook. Oh, let me confirm. Okay, good. npm run storybook. Waiting to bundle is finished. Okay, nice. Wrong place. All right. So let's see how our storybook components is going to look now. So you can see here the default, there's a default welcome screen, and these are the default components that have actually been created for. So you can see there's a button story, and for each button story, there's a variation of that button. So there's primary, there's secondary, there's large, and then there's small. And if you go to under docs, you can see all the props that particular button is actually going to accept. So you can see primary, label, background color, size, and click, etc. and you can toggle them to play with them, and it's going to affect this. And then you can change the label from here to A. So like I said, we are going to be clearing all this, and we're going to be building our own component and story from scratch. So okay, let's create our first component. So I'm going to create under app one, I'm going to create a new folder for components, and let's call that button. Then inside button we can have button.tsx, and we can just create let's just create a simple button component, and for that component we can do button here. And then what else can we do? Okay, like I said, we are using TypeScript, but we won't be passing a lot of props. So let's just say we're passing, let's say a background color, the string, and yeah, let's just stick with this for now. And then we have components button props, and we can structure this to get our BG color. So yeah, one more thing would be children. We need children actually to be React node. So we have children here. So just some basic props. So we are not building anything serious. So for style, so we need to pass our background color. Background color to be BG color. Okay, we are good. So we've created our button component, but now we also need to create a story for it. So to create a story, you do button dot stories dot tsx. So once you've created your stories file, there's a certain syntax for stories. It's not complicated. It's just a few steps, which is let's see. Okay, here we go. So the first thing is we need to import our button component into the original button component into the button stories component. So we need to first, let's do this. Nah, thank you. Okay, so we can import button from /button. Okay, as the first thing. Now the second thing, we need to have a default export. So the default export is actually where storybook, all the main storybook configuration is going to come from. Now if I copy this, actually no need, it's very straightforward. You can just do export default, and we can have title. The title for our component will be, let's call it custom button. Then our components should be button we actually imported. Now, this alone, when I first started using Storybook, I thought this was actually going to work, so I was a bit confused. Why was this not working? But just like the Storybook will not great for you, you need to add the different button variations for this to actually be able to work. So for you to be able to do that, right, you need to first set a template. So I'm going to be copying this. I'm sorry if I'm not explaining it a bit deeper, but like I said, I wouldn't want to waste too much of your time. Now, oh yeah, TypeScript types. I need to add types too. If not, I will be having errors. Okay. So if we do this, and then for the default exports, we need to add the types as this. Okay. And then for the templates, we need to add the type as component story of whatever. Okay. So after, so like I said, a story has a specific way it has to be defined. So the first thing we need to have the default export. Next thing we need to define a template. So a template is basically a blueprint for your different story variations. So let me give you an example. So let's say we want a button with, so let's say we want to have a default button. So how the button is going to look like, how the button is going to look initially. So to be able to do that, we are going to call template.bind, and then we just do default args to be, yeah, we need to call bg color to be, actually no, we don't need to pass any properties here. So with this, yeah, this might feel a little bit too much, a little bit much right now, but yeah, this is just how the storybook, a storybook story is actually supposed to be. So you set default export, you create a template, and for each variations of your components, you need to bind it. Then after you bind, you need to bind the template to that particular variation. And after binding that template, the next thing you have to do is you set arguments. That's if there are actually any. Now let's confirm that our custom button component has actually been added to our storybook dashboard. So let's see first. Missing default exports. This guy. Okay, so I think I need to do export this. Yeah. So let's see what else am I missing. Let's just restart this. Okay. I'm probably missing something. Okay. Primary the art is true. So let's just create others for now while we try to figure out what the issue is. So yeah, let's create a yellow button. And then we can do BG color to be yellow. Okay. So let me try to go through this and see if you're actually missing anything. We are exporting our primary, we are buying, we are casting, abiding, we are passing arguments, exports, defaults. Okay. Okay, so since I can't figure out the bug right now, let's just use one of the existing ones. So let's not waste too much time. So let's go to button, or probably it might be because of this. Okay. Anyways, so this is basically what we've done, but we just a bunch more components really. So let me just try to remove them and see what we can do. This, okay. So these are all the different variations of a particular button component. So we have primary, secondary, large, and small. And if we go to the original button component created, so you can see all the button props here. You can see primary is a boolean, background color, the size, etc. Let's see. Okay. So because we have TypeScript, so TypeScript kind of gives us it helps us to know which prop is actually where. So here we can also pass size. So you can say size is also actually coming here. Size equals to SM, and that's okay. So not SM small. Okay. So each different variations will be reflected here. Oh, wow, it actually showed. Okay. So this is the component it created. Okay, nice. So just took a while to load. So we have our default button here. And if you go under docs, you can see the yellow button we also created. So if I go back there now, and see by default it's not showing anything, and that's because we didn't have children. So if we say children to be click me here, and then children to be click me here also. So you can see it's actually reflecting here. So we have our yellow button showing up. Now let's do something else. Let's just have more variations here. So instead of yellow, let's have green button, and we can have green here. So you can see we have our default button, we have our yellow button, and we have our green button. And another thing I like about Storybook is smart enough to know that because there's a color property here, is showing us, okay, choose color here. So this portion here is to show you the list of props you've actually passed. So you can see BG color, you can see children here also. So I can also choose any color from here, and you can see the button actually being being affected over here. So yeah, that's basically it for Storybook. Really, all you have to do now is just start adding components, creating stories, adding components. And there's way more to Storybook than just this. You can inside the documentation you can hard test, and there's a bunch more stuff to explore actually, but the documentation is there. If you want to know more, you can read more. I'm just here to introduce you to Storybook. So that aside, I really hope everybody can still hear me and I've not been talking to myself. So okay, so the steps here the steps here is create npx storybook init, create a component, create a stories file for the component, and add component stories, which is everything we've basically done so far. Yeah. Now next, now currently the way we are using Storybook, we are using it inside our application itself, but we don't want that. We want it to be separate. We want to be able to create we want to be able to let's say npm install personal design system and just import custom button from that particular package that we have. And how exactly are we going to do that? But before that, let's talk a little. Let's just small now. Why do we actually need to isolate? So I've actually touched a little bit on this. Now, separation of concern. Basically, if you want to separate your business logic the from basic UI logic. So let's from people that for experienced developers, as a project increases in size, there's a lot of complexity too, and sometimes you can even get lost in the code base. So if you have all the design system issues in a package separate, be like, okay, at least this is not adding to my problem, so you're good. And another reason for isolating our design system is basically if you have multiple apps, like I said for Atlassian, a good example is Atlassian, or even Google. Like Google is even probably one of the best examples. Like most of their app, they all feel a certain way with same style of buttons, whatever. Yeah, you get. So that is also another use case. Now, how do we actually do this? Isolation with our design system, which is we create an npm package. Now, when I first delved into how to actually create an npm package, oh god, it was crazy, because they'll say you have to do this, you need to do Babel, you need to do this thing. Well, there was a lot of headache. Not until I actually found TSDX. Now TSDX is not being maintained that much, but then it does so good a job that more like it's still going strong. But then there've been forks of TSDX, and people have added more functionality and being maintained. TSDX still works very well. So what TSDX does, all the headache configuration that you need to create an npm package, like it has already settled down for you. All you have to do, install TSDX, add your components, npm publish, and you have your package. That is it. Very simple and straightforward. Now for TSDX, this is the documentation for TSDX. And all you have to do is just npx tsdx create main library, but we get there now. Yeah, we're already there. Yeah, we're already there. To so let's build a package. Basically, let's build a package. So to be able to build a package, you are going to need an npm account. You need to create an npm account, sign up. After that, that's all. There's no special initiation, like maybe having a Google developer account. You just sign up, provide a couple of details, and you're good to go. Now, now let's create our package. So we are going to initialize our npm package with TSDX. So I am going to close app one and everything related to app one. Okay. And then we are going to open our terminal. Yeah. Yeah, we know errors, we know. Okay. All right. So we're going to do this and let's see which name. So let's say dummy package. Sorry, I'm bad at naming. Okay, so npx tsdx basic. So when you are building with tsdx, it doesn't assume that you always want to build a UI library, a design system. So there are three templates: basic, React, and React to Storybook. So we are going obviously with React to Storybook. Okay. So it will take a few seconds, to get it up. And something to mention, when creating a package, you can't actually use something like create React app and say you want to push that to npm. It doesn't work like that. You have to actually do the OG way of creating a React application. So I'm still having PTSD from trying to do that. So but TSDX to the rescue. So yeah. So let's see, it's still taking a while. But in the meantime, to prepare for this particular talk, I actually created, let me try to show you this. I created a test package. Let me try to go there. Okay, so this is my npm account. So if I go to packages, you can see Bolu slash my lib. So this is the package I created, and it's right there. Okay, and it's okay, it's still here actually. So there are basically two components there, and I was able to test it and it worked successfully. So by the time we are done, we're going to have something like this, and then we'll install and test it out to see if it works. Yeah. And hopefully, let's confirm this is our common man. Why? Okay. Okay, it's coming up. It's coming up. Anyways, I think we already okay. So we already have this here, but it's still installing the packages, so there's still going to be errors everywhere. Okay, that's fine. So in the meantime, let's create our button component here also. But because I'm kind of lazy, I am not interested in writing all that code again. So I'm going to come over here and just copy the entire component folder from app one. And then I'm going to come into our dummy package, src, and then, oh, Jesus. Instead of pasting, I copied again. Okay. Let's just do this. App one, come over here. Okay, good. So we have our button component and we also have our button.stories component. Okay, yeah, I get it. We are still installing. So and for for TSDX, you need to export all the components you actually create from index.tsx, because now if you say you want to just push this, it is only going to see this one because this particular component is defined here. So to make our button accessible, available when we push it to production, to npm, you need to first import it from here. Import button from slash component slash button. Okay, slash button, then flash button again. And then we can just do export button like this. Yeah. Okay. So when that's done, we also have our button or stories. I think we're actually good. We are just waiting for this to finish installing. And yeah, in the meantime, there's one more thing. When you are actually, oh, okay, this is messed up now. So we still need to wait a little bit more. But at this point, while our app is still installing, please ask if you have any questions, please ask before we continue. Okay, no questions for now, I guess.
Hi, Bolu.
Well, that's fine. So maybe
Hi,
we
Bolu.
can check out other design systems in the meantime. So let's
Hello,
okay.
Bolu.
Yeah, hello.
There are
Yeah,
Hi.
questions.
Hi.
yeah. So would this actually be good for what's the name? Open source? Like for someone
Hello
who
guys.
wants to create. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah,
said
sure.
okay. Yeah, thanks.
Someone has another question.
Okay, shoot.
Yeah, so I don't know. All these packages are being created with NPM. Are they exclusive to NPM only? Like the other package managers have the right to like install them and use.
Yeah, you can actually also install it with Yarn. Once it's deployed to NPM, like you can install with like, and I'm sure other package managers also have access to NPM packages. So instead of doing NPM install design system, you can do Yarn add design system. So yeah, that also works. Does that answer your question?
Sure, it does. Thank you so much.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, it's almost done. Everything is looking okay. Oh wow, this takes a long time. Hallelujah! Finally. Okay, so let's go into dummy package, and then I can do npm run storybook. Or let's kill our other storybook server that's running. So let's kill this. Let's kill app one. Okay, all good. NPM run storybook. Okay, nice. Could not find. Yeah, sure. So okay, so we have our default storybook components in our React package, and something else to note when you are creating applications when you are creating npm packages, you won't really have visuals on what you are working on till you actually deploy. So that's why storybook is actually a good option, because you are not running an actual application, you are running a package. So things are a little bit different. So okay, so our first hurdle, so let me see our button component. Green button default. Okay, so what is the problem? Default is using also is using private name button props. Okay,
14 wings later.
I don't want to waste time battling this particular error in this meeting. Sir Ayodeji. Okay,
Yeah, I
can you
think it's
say
because
something?
you didn't export the interface.
Oh, which? Okay, hold on. You mean? Oh. Damn it. Wow. Thank you for that. Thanks. I would never have figured out how it was only me. Anyways, so we have this. So let's see if it's going to come up here. Webpack build. Okay, let's just start. Let's start. Okay. All right. So component default. Okay, it might just be taking a while like the other time, but anyways, in the meantime, let's go to the one we have here by default, and we can just start. So this thing.tsx here, it has only a few props, it has children props. So let's add a color prop to this, color to the string, and then here we can do color, and then we can have and just pass that color prop here. So now this has a color prop now. If I go to this, you can see color is actually showing up here now. So before anything, before we actually deploy, let's add one more variation of that particular template. So we'll copy this default, and we can change this to yellow text. Okay, and then you can say the color for this should be yellow. Okay, so you can see this is actually coming up as yellow, and then here you can call this blue text. Nice. So we have yellow text here, and we also have blue text. Now let's try to deploy. Now, what do we need to deploy? We really don't need much. Let's go to our package.json first. So we need to search for the name here. So the name of our package is going to be dummy package. But then on NPM, I'm probably 100% sure there are also other packages that are called dummy packages. So you can just do as this instead. You can manipulate it a little bit. You can put in your name at the beginning and dummy package. And if you are someone that uses packages a lot, you would have seen a lot of packages that actually use this type of naming convention. Name, then their personal author name, then package name. Then one other thing to mention when deploying is version. Anytime you deploy the version, you need to manually change the version, because you won't be allowed to push to the same version. Anyways, that aside, let's try to see if we can actually push this to NPM. Now, once you have your NPM account, you need to first do NPM login, then you put in your email and password. So you do NPM login here, then you put in your email and password. Once you've been able to do that, you'll be able to actually deploy. But since I have already done NPM login before, I won't have to do that again. So all I have to do is NPM publish. Then for the first time, or if you are publishing a package for the first time, you can declare it either public or restricted. I've not done a lot of research into restricted packages, but if I don't need it yet, I'm not checking it. So let's focus on this. So let's try to do npm publish for our dummy package. Okay, so it's telling me to enter OTP. So that's for two-factor authentication. That's if you have it on your NPM account. I do, so I'm going to enter the code now, 258. Okay, so let's see now. So we have successfully deployed our package. Hallelujah, very simple and straightforward. So if you go to NPM JS, your NPM account, I think I already closed that tab. npmjs.com. I click on this, I click on packages. That's my package. Okay, so you can see at bolu/dummy package is actually here. What is going to be deployed here as the documentation will be what you put in your readme.md, but data side. As you can see here, we have version, so it shows you version 0.1.0. When you deploy the next one, you have to increment the version 0.1.1. And how the versioning works is also something else. But anyways, let's try to test how, if our package actually works, if you can use these particular components here and specify the color to actually use. So we are going to go to um, app 2. So we have app 1, which is the one we used. We added Storybook directly. Dummy package is our package, and app 2 is what we're actually going to use to test right now. So we are currently in app 2. Let's see which package manager. So it uses yarn. So we're going to do yarn add, and then the name of our package at bolu/dummy package. Okay, I just copy. Okay, good. Added successfully. Now let's try to start the app. Yeah, there. Excuse me. Okay, so let's see how that currently looks like. All right, so we have our app running. So let's try to import our component and try to use it. So let's check the name of our component first inside dummy package. And if I go to index.tsx, the name of the package is tin, THIND. So if you go back to app 2, and let's go to app.tsx. Let's go to app.tsx. Let's remove, oh god, there's a bunch of clutter here. Okay, so we will have to import in at bolu/dummy package. Good sign, we don't have errors. Nice. So let's just do THING. This is here. Now by default, okay, let's actually check the props that we can use here. So we can pass in a children prop, and we can also pass in color. But if we don't pass in children, it's going to display this by default. Now let's see what it displays now. So you can see it's displaying what we have from the component. Now let's see if we can pass in the color prop here. So if we do color, let's say indigo. So you can see color is actually, so, and just like that, we have our design system launched on NPM. So what if we now want to make a change? We want to add a new prop. So I'm going to show you how to do that too. So I'll go back to the package. I'll navigate to the component we are currently using. So let's add one more. Let's do BG color here. BG color is also a string. Okay, so we can do BG color. Yeah, and then we can do background color to be BG color. All right. So one thing I also like to do, let's make children required, so we can test if it's actually going to throw an error when we use it. But before that, let's update the stories for our component. So let's say with background, let's add the variation with background color and cast and bind it to template created here, and then we'll now have to pass in properties to it. Dot args equals to, so let's say g color to be red, color to be white. Okay, now let's see storybook. Did we, I think we probably stopped that. So npm run storybook. It's almost there. Nice. Okay. So you can see our new story is here with background color, and it's showing the background color and the color we added. And if you see the code, the example code, tin BG color is white. Now that we've updated our storybook, let's actually deploy this now. So what I'm just going to do is npm. Oh, I apologize. Before that, we need to implement the version. So from 0.1.0 to 0.1.1, and you can do npm publish. Okay. Nice. Enter OTP 654. Okay, so our package has been deployed. Let's confirm on npm. If we go back to versions and refresh, you should see our version is here in our version history. So this is the first version and this is the next version. So one of the usefulness of versions, if, like I said, this should also be common knowledge for people that use packages a lot. You can say, okay, this version doesn't have this, I'm going to use this. This version has this, I'm going to use this. So nice. So we are going to install the new version. So we are going to go back to our app2 here, and there are a couple of ways of installing a new version of the package. You can just do npm install the package again, or you can target that particular version. For me, I'm just going to reinstall the package. Yep, so you can see at bolu/dummy package 0.1.1. Awesome. Now, next, you can see here, this is already throwing an error. Why? Because children is missing in type. Because in the component in our design system, we said children should be compulsory. So we need to add children, let's see, and then you can also add background color to be red and this to be white. Actually getting tired of red. Let's use blue. Okay, so let's restart our app, and then okay, so if we come over here now, you can see our styles are actually being applied. Awesome. So that is basically it, really. So yeah, so you can see how to set up and use Storybook in a React app. You add tsdx, add your components and add your stories, export the components from index.tsx, and then you add your preferred name and your version to package.json, sorry, then npm publish. So like I said, that's really it. So in this slide, I've shared the slide link with DG. I've added a couple of useful links. I might add more. And yeah, that's basically it. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. So yeah, I apologize if it was a lot to unload. If we had more time, I guess I still have a whole lot more to say, but yeah, that's it. So thanks for coming. Yeah.
Thank you very much, but we have a question. I think Isaac has a question.
Okay.
Yo, good evening.
Okay, yes. Good evening, boss.
Yeah, like do you actually need to like change the version every single time you want to push new updates? Like manually change the version?
Yeah, there's actually a flag for there's there's a flag for automatically incrementing the version. I've forgotten. Maybe it's dash something I've forgotten. But yeah, you can just create an npm command for that, and you can just run that anytime you want to publish instead of manually changing it yourself. So yeah, but yes, yeah, you have to definitely change the version. You have to. And one of the things for also manually changing the version, in the versioning system, the numbers you increment depend on which change you are pushing. If you have 0.1.1, and you are pushing a new version of your design system, it won't be 0.1.2, it's probably be 0.2.0. Get so yeah, so I think there are tags to target that, but I've not really used them much. I've basically been, suffering myself manually doing that. But that's also because I've not had a lot of experiences building packages. Yeah, so that's it. Did I answer the question?
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. Thanks.
All right, no problem. Okay. So any other questions?
They don't raise hands. Okay, we don't have any other hands. Yeah, thank you very much, Bolu, for the presentation. It was really, really insightful. Before now, I didn't have any idea about any of these things. It's just now I'm realizing why in my company's front end code base we used to have these dot stories. I didn't know what it was for, but now I've really learned a lot. Design system is really a nice thing. I mean, especially for people who want to work on open source stuff, as Dumdo mentioned. Thank you very much. We really appreciate it. It was really a very informative session. And I mentioned that there will be a Kahoot session. So without wasting much of our time, we'll quickly go into that. It won't take much time. We just have 15 questions. So if you're ready, please pick up your phone. I'll share my screen right now. I'm doing Kahoot. Right, please join. You join with your phone.
Seven joins into the future.
All right, so I'm starting now. If you've not joined, I'm so sorry, but we're starting now. Yeah, so I'm reading the questions. So the quiz actually contains details on the last session and part of the session. So the first question says, who handled the last dev meet session? You have Isaac, you have Dumlo, you have me, and you have Dumdo. Isaac, Dumlo, me, and Dumdo. I'm reading it from left to right. Yeah, it was Dumdo that took the last session. Thank you. Let's move forward. Let's see. What the highest? Right now, it's just like John Paul is he's not taking the lead. Yeah, next is the true or false. The last meet was not recorded. True or false? Seems like someone is stuck. I guess John Paul is actually stuck, and that's why he's not answering. Okay, yeah, correctly. Yes, the last meet was actually recorded, and I've dropped the link to the previous meet in the chat section. You'd see it. Okay, Victor's taking the lead. Which of this is a recommended library by Dumto for making data fetches with React? Redux Toolkit Query, SWR, React Query, and Axios. Redux Toolkit Query, SWR, React Query, and Axios. Which of them is recommended by Dumto for making data fetches with React? It happens to be React Query and not Axios. Yo, John Paul is coming up. All right, next one is this session was supposed to be presented at which of these popular tech events? That's the previous session. It was supposed to be presented somewhere else. So which of it? Is it Hacktoberfest Conference, Google Dev Fest, Open Source Conference Africa, Next.js Conf 2021? Yes, it was Google Dev Fest. Yes, it's supposed to be presented there, and he graced us with this topic here. All right, they're actually very easy questions about speed. Which of this is not a benefit of data fetching libraries? Load balancing, real-time polling, caching, revalidation on focus. Which of this is not the benefit of data fetching libraries? Load balancing, real-time polling, caching, revalidation on focus. Yeah, it happens to be load balancing. Load balancing is not a feature given by data fetching libraries. It's your infrastructure that handles that. If you're still taking a lead, there's a problem here. Yeah, true or false? useQuery is a hook provided by default in React. useQuery is a hook provided by default in React. Yeah, the answer is false. It's not provided by React, it's provided by React query. Okay, we're not really having any change in the ranking. You guys should be faster. The use mutation hook from React query is not typically used for which of these operations? The use mutation hook from React query is not typically used for which of these operations: create, read, update, and delete. If you check out the slides, you should actually have an answer to this. All right, and the answer is read. Yes, it's not usually used for read. It's meant for create, update, and delete. Okay. Next, let's see the next one. It says, how many memes were used in the slide that Dunto shared? Actually, a trivial question, but then a trick question. How many memes were used? So you just have to guess in the slide that Dunto shared. So 1, 2, or 3, or 4. Yeah, it happened to be 3. Yeah, just 3. Next one is let's see. Tokyo is up now. Nice. Yeah, how many meets so far has been recorded, excluding this current one? How many meetings so far have been recorded, excluding the current one? Yes, it's just one of them. That's the previous meet. We just started recording meets very recently when someone offered to sponsor Google Business. All right, what's the full name of the current handler for today's meet? Bolu that took the meet, what's his full name? We have Abiola Bolu wife, we have Abiodun Bolu today, Abiola Bolu Atife, and Abondo Bolu Rere. Whichever one you think. Yes, Abiola Bolu Atife. And I think we have one more question. Yeah, true or false? Dumto is not a nickname for the previous speaker. Instead, it's his real name. True or false? Yeah, it is his real name. Yes. So let's see who won. First is Corley Zik with 8,000 points. And we have Victor. Yeah, Victor. Thank you very much, everyone who showed up. That would be nice having this session with you. I'll stop sharing my screen right now. Thanks everyone for answering the questions. So it's really nice. I really enjoyed everything. Thanks everyone for answering. Victor, you took first position, so it's really nice. And Tokwe and Kolizik. I guess you don't take first position next. You have to show up for the meet because there will be count next for this session. Thanks everyone for showing up. It has really been nice having you guys here. Again, I'll reshare the messages I shared before, that if you want to speak at the future meeting, you can just fill this form right here and send in. If you also previous meet and the upcoming meets, they are going to be uploaded on this channel I created, and then the slides for this session can be found here. Please like and subscribe videos to the videos on the channel. Thank you very much. Well, thank you very much for the session. So it's really a nice one. For everyone who participated, thank you. Asking questions really makes sessions way more interesting. See you guys next week with a different topic. You'll receive an update on future meets. Thanks, guys. Have a nice night.